It's not every day that the President of the United States comes in, surprises us, and says, you know what, I shouldn't have phrased it the way I did.
You know, the President played the grown-up in the room when he went into the briefing room today and tried to turn this incident back into the teachable moment that it was, I think, the other day when it happened, because I don't know a single person who, when they first heard the story of what happened to Professor Gates, didn't say, that wouldn't have happened if he was white. Everybody thought so. And the fact that the President actually talked about it didn't seem to me to be such a bad thing. And I think today he toned the rhetoric down. He brought it back to the teachable moment. Good for him.
I heard a lot of people defending the cop when I first heard the story too, but maybe we're hanging around in different circles. But go ahead.
Well, you know, let's give the President a thumbs up today. You know, if you turn on your TV tonight, we don't like our leaders or our heroes on TV to pretend they're perfect. We like them, hey, they're human like us, but when they make mistakes, we want them to see it, pick themselves back up, admit they've made a mistake, and, you know, demonstrate their strength that way. The President did that today. I think the problem for the President is that he's becoming the, what's that word he used? He didn't calibrate his words. He's becoming the calibrator-in-chief. It seems that one day he says one thing, then the next day he tweaks it, so there's a lot of uncertainty there.
You know, the one thing that's frustrating here is I didn't hear that police officer in any of his interviews or any of his allies at, you know, the Republican Party or Fox News today, ginning this story up, give 1 ounce of recognition or apology that maybe they'd overreacted, and that's frustrating.
Well, though, let's remember what the most powerful weapon the police has to keep us safe, and that is, it's not a gun, it is the respect we give them for authority. And when that's undermined by, you know, disruptive behavior, that's really important. Then if they don't have that respect, all they have is force. None of us.
In fairness to Sergeant Crowley, he got a lot of support from his fellow officers, white and black, and we've heard that over the past few days, and we've learned a lot more about him. The President obviously had strong words of praise for him today and invited him to come to the White House and share in a beer with Professor Gates as well. Let's get back to the politics of this, because it's not every day that the President has a gaffe, and some will argue this was a gaffe at the news conference, at the end of the news conference the other day, and then comes out quickly and tries to fix it. But he's done it before, including the reference he made to the former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Listen to this.
In terms of speaking to former presidents, I've spoken to all of them that are living. Obviously, President Clinton. I didn't want to get into a Nancy Reagan thing about, you know, doing any seances.
Now, he wasted no time in calling Mrs. Reagan and apologizing and trying to fix that one, just as he did, remember when he was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and he said this.
I bowled a 129.
Oh, no, that's very good. Yeah. No, that's very good, Mr. President.
This is like Special Olympics or something.
No,
The reference to the Special Olympics, and he wasted no time calling Maria Shriver and others who have been involved in the Special Olympics to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I screwed up, which I think is, the American public can relate. We all say things that, you know, we regret saying. The thing is not to dig down and say, you know what, I'm going to resist that. It's to acknowledge the mistake and then move on.
Pretty human reactions that we see him. I mean, he's as regular a guy, a president, as we've ever had, and I think people like that about him. They see him as somebody who has some emotion about issues that he cares about. You know, let's be real. He's not wrong about the 14,000 people who are losing health insurance every day. He doesn't make gaffes about, you know, the capitals of countries where he has to work with foreign leaders. We're talking about sort of personality, jokes, those sorts of things. You know, this is a president we can count on intellectually.
I think Hillary's right, mostly. He's certainly, that does make him more accessible. He is us in a lot of ways. He's fighting to quit smoking, and that's one of the things, a sense of humor, the family. You know, what a lovely picture. That's what keeps his numbers up here, but his policies are something else. They're a lot less popular. Now, if he could only admit a mistake on policy, like on the health care plan that nobody in America seems to like except him.
Well, so far there's no plan. There's a lot of different plans, and there's not a final vision of a plan, and he's avoiding taking some positions, Hillary, that maybe could nail this down if he were to say, you know what, this is the tax I want to increase for rich people. This is what I want to do as far as employer health care benefits, if anything. This is what I want to do about the public government option health care insurance plan to compete with some of the private companies. He's so far staying above that.
We are so close to a final bill out of the House of Representatives and out of the Senate, final proposals that will allow the president then to get in and be very much a part of forging the final process. And I think you will see he and the White House be very aggressive once the House and Senate have had their way. But, you know, these bills have so far been forged by the Congress with the support of the White House.
As you know, what she's referring to is once the House passes a version and the Senate passes a very different version, they then have this conference committee. They have to reconcile, come up with a new version, and it's then that some people are saying the president will roll up his sleeves and get involved.
Well, he's learning from the Clinton mistakes, which they got their plan out early and it was picked apart. But, you know, Wolf, as you said, there really isn't a plan yet. So why are they in such a hurry to get everyone to sign off of it and approve it and pass something that no one's read, no one's seen, and no one knows how it's going to affect us? It's going to change this economy and our health care for years and years to come. Something this big, this major, you know, this is not the calibrator in chief again. There's something, he should let us calibrate the health plan.
We're going to be calibrating a lot over the next few weeks.
The talking point, right? The Republican talking point. Slow down something we've studied to death.
We'll see what happens, guys. Thanks very much.
Seen it yet.
There's going to be a congressional recess coming up in a week or so. We'll see what happens then.